Welcome to another one, and let's get straight into it. This week is not looking that good, and obviously, after what happened on last Friday with the tariffs, let's go straight into it. So, we filled the CME gap, yes, we've actually managed to go up from here, and afterwards, we did go back down, and now we're at very critical support and resistance right now. And I do very much hope that we are not gonna go below this level, because if we do go below this level, there's not much support left, right? We're on the weekly time frame here on this chart, and we can see the most major support and resistance lines that I've drawn here in white. Okay, so this support and resistance line that we have at the moment is extremely important, right? We've bounced from it a few times before. We've broken through here and we've bounced, and now we are almost not bouncing, right? If we do not manage to bounce from here, that is not good news. We might potentially, in my opinion, go down all the way to approximately this level here, which should bring us to approximately 98,000. It's about here, $98,000 per Bitcoin if we do not hold. Now, if we zoom in a bit more, right, we go here, let's say to the 4-hourly, then we can see, and if I remove some of the noise, we have some support at the low, and the low is around about here at 107. We can see some support, and the support also co-aligns with on the left side. You can see also here, so we have the support right here. Let me mark it in a different color, and you can see obviously we've touched bounce from here and we've had support here. So firstly, we might go down to this level, which is around 107, 107, 400. If we do not hold at that level, I think we could be going down all the way to, like I said, around about here, $98,000 per Bitcoin. And now if we zoom out a bit again, like I said, we need to hold this level. And one thing I want to show you guys is the bull and bear market support bands, right? Not support bands, the Bitcoin halving cycles. That's what I want to show you guys. Let me remove this noise, because what I want to show you guys is very important. So here we can see that historically we always go into a bear market at around 80 weeks after the halving, okay? So let's go to last cycle. The last cycle, we've had the halving on the 5th of November in 2020. Historically, the best time to take profits is here, between 40 weeks to 80 weeks after the halving. So basically in this green area. Now, if we go to this cycle, 40 weeks after the halving was when? Well, 40 weeks after the halving was in right here, our end of January of 2025. And you know, guys, what happened in January of 2025? Well, we actually got a top in Bitcoin. We've reached the top, and the top was around about 104. And then we went down for quite some time. And now we're approaching 80 weeks after the halving, which is end of October. And we're literally 1, 2, 3 weeks away from there. It's going to be about end of October, beginning of November. So we're almost there now. And according to this, it does not look good at all for Bitcoin. Now, I've mentioned it a few times. I still hope that we are going to bounce from here, right? I still hope that we're going to bounce from this level, go higher. We don't have much room to go. Maybe we will not go down 80 weeks after halving, but a bit later, which I think might happen, because we've not really had that altcoin season yet, right? And usually we always have a blow off top with the altcoin season. We've not had that yet. Search interest on Google is very low. So let's see what happens. But definitely one thing to note is that if you have positions open, take profits along the way, take profits gradually, and don't keep everything until the end. Now, looking at Ethereum quickly, this is Ethereum on the monthly chart. We can see that we are breaking out of this descending triangle, and it looks bullish, obviously, because we are now creating support, which was formerly resistance, right? Just about at this level. We've had resistance here, and now we're creating support at that level. So that's bullish. It also aligns with our idea that Ethereum and altcoins tend to pump in the end of the cycle. So I think Ethereum might pump if we go a bit closer into it in like a shorter time frame. Let's go into it on the daily. I want to show you guys a bull flag pattern that's forming. Actually, if I just go on the weekly, it's a bit easier to see. So very quickly, we have the bull flag pattern right here, right? We have the leg and then the bull flag pattern. And obviously the way to take the target is simply to take this line. You just take this line to the, I think you guys know what I mean, to the top. So we have a bull flag pattern forming here. And now also one quick thing to note is that the US government has actually seized a bit more Bitcoin from, I think it was $14 billion. They've seized again from some criminal group. And now it makes them the second largest Bitcoin holder in the world. So they have 327 million Bitcoins, so 327,000 Bitcoins, and they're the second biggest ones. And also Trump, he signed an executive order not to sell any Bitcoins as part of their strategic strategy, you know, Bitcoin strategy. So that's good news, but Bitcoin's price obviously not going up. And now one thing I want to point out to you guys, very important, and this might blow your mind. Look at the federal funds effective rate. It's basically the interest rate set by the central bank of the US, right? So this interest rate controls basically the money supply. It controls the interest rate on the US dollars and the US dollar, and thereby basically the M2 money supply globally. So what is the trend? These gray areas are basically areas of recessions. We've had here the 2000 dot-com bubble. We've had the 2008 financial crisis. We've had the pandemic here in 2020. And what do they all have in common? Well, they have a drop in the interest rate shortly before the recession happens, right? So what does that mean? Usually, obviously, if the interest rate goes down, it means there's more spending in the market. And it's good for the markets. There's more spending, prices go higher, everything usually goes up. And if the interest rate goes up, this is normally a precautionary measure by the central bank to calm things a bit down, because inflation is getting out of hand. Because people are spending too much money and prices are going up, so they increase the interest rate to stop people from borrowing money and stop spending as much and keep inflation in control. Now, what does a drop in interest rate indicate? Well, it might be a warning sign that we have a recession coming up. And the central bank might want to stimulate spending and stimulate economic growth by dropping the interest rate. And we can see it every time. Every time just before the recession, we've had a drop in the interest rate. Here, 2007, we had it. 2020, we had it. And what do we have right now? We had a drop already in August of 2024. 1 year ago, we started seeing the drop. And now we're seeing another drop. It's dropping again. And according to history, we've always had a recession coming up. And that might be coming up next year, in my opinion. And if I zoom out a bit more, actually, if I show you the full chart, right, from 1955, look at this. The gray areas are all recessions. And every single time, without doubt, there's a drop in the interest rate just before or at the recession point, which obviously makes sense, right? The governments, they would want to control recessions by dropping interest rates. But look here, 1957, 1960, every single time, the interest rates are dropping to control the recessions, obviously, right? And right now, I don't see why this would not happen again. And I hope you take this news away with you to be cautious. And I think it will align, I mean, it makes sense if this whole drop in interest rate aligns with the bear market of 2026, right? We're coming to the end of the bull market now. We're gonna have maybe a month or two more, or until the end of the year, of upwards moving price action. We're gonna take profits. We're going to go into a bear market, stack up that money, put it into Bitcoin and other assets at the end of the bear market and the potential upcoming recession, and become rich that way. I mean, sounds easy. It has always worked. Always buy when prices are low, wait for recessions to happen, and then buy the things that you want to buy. And with that being said, see you guys. Bye.